Welcome to the Explainer. Today we are going to completely transform your test automation framework. We are going to tackle one of the biggest bottlenecks out there, test data.
So let's just ask the question right up front, because if you're writing automated tests, you've definitely felt this pain, right? Especially when your project starts to get bigger. It all seems fine at first, but pretty soon it can turn into this tangled mess that just slows everything down.
So let's start with a really common practice, a place a lot of us begin, and that's hard-coding data directly inside a TestNG data provider. It feels so quick and easy when you start, but trust me, it's a trap.
I mean, look, for a quick one-off test, this works, but that simplicity is so deceptive. Just imagine you need to add, say, 50 more users, or a business analyst needs to update a password for a test environment. Now you're stuck digging through the code, and that easy solution suddenly becomes a huge maintenance nightmare.
And this right here, this just lays it all out perfectly. Hard coding basically glues your data and your test logic together, and that makes your framework brittle. But when you externalize your data, you create this beautiful, clean separation. And that makes your framework robust, scalable, and honestly, just way easier to work with.
So the most important thing we can do is get our data out of the code and into its own dedicated, easy-to-access home. And for what we're doing today, that home is going to be a good old Excel spreadsheet.
Just look at how clean and readable this is. The data is all organized, it's easy to see what's what, and here's the best part. Anyone on the team can update this. Your QA analyst, a business analyst, whoever. They don't have to touch a single line of Java code.
Okay, but how do we actually get our tests to read this Excel file? We need a bridge, right? And that bridge is going to be a dedicated reusable utility class that does all the heavy lifting for us. And this is our workhorse. Think of this thing as a smart little robot. Its only job is to go into our Excel file, find the exact sheet we tell it to, read all the data, and then package it up in the perfect format that TestNG needs. It's a single, reusable tool that's going to power our entire testing process. Now, to make this whole thing work smoothly and save yourself a ton of headaches later, you got to remember these key practices. A clean project structure, like keeping your Excel files in the resources folder and just keeping your data organized, it's absolutely critical for making this whole thing easy to maintain long term.
Okay, now for the masterstroke. This is the really cool part. We have our data in Excel, and we have a reader to get it. Now, we're going to make our data provider smart. Smart enough to automatically find the right data for the right test without us having to spell it out every single time.
And we're going to look at two really powerful ways to do this. First, a simple but super elegant trick, automatically matching the name of the test method to the name of the Excel sheet. And second, for when we need a bit more control, we'll build a custom annotation.
So this first technique is all about convention. It's so clever. Our data provider is smart enough to know which test is calling it. So if we have a test method called login data, it automatically tells the provider, hey, go look for an Excel sheet named login data. It's convention over configuration, and it is brilliant because it's just so simple and clean. But what if your method name and your sheet name can't match? Or maybe you just don't want them to? Well, that's where we get even more sophisticated. We're going to create our own custom annotation. We'll call it @ExcelSheet to explicitly connect a test method to its data. And here is the updated logic. Now our data provider is even smarter. It has a plan A and a plan B. First, it checks if the test method has our special @ExcelSheet annotation. If it does, great, it uses that. If it doesn't find one, no problem. It just falls back to our original plan of matching the method name. It's really the best of both worlds.
All right, so let's see this entire system in action. We're going to follow the data all the way from the Excel file through our new dynamic provider and right into a running test.
So here's how we use it. We just add our shiny new annotation right above our test method. This thing acts like a little signpost telling the provider, hey, for this specific test, you need to go get your data from the sheet named register data.
Our data provider sees that annotation, opens up the Excel file, and finds this exact sheet. It reads the first row of data, runs the test once for John Doe, then it reads the second row and runs the whole test again for Jane Smith. See how that works?
And finally, where does that data actually go? It gets passed as parameters right into our test. And the test then uses that data to interact with the application, telling it what to type into the username field or which password to use. The entire flow is connected, it's clean, and it's completely data-driven. The real aha moment with this pattern comes when you need to scale up.
Adding a whole new suite of tests doesn't mean you have to write a new data provider. Nope. It just means adding a new sheet to your Excel file.
You can just imagine this. Your single testdata.xlsx file becomes the central hub for your entire test suite. Everything is neatly organized with each scenario in its own dedicated sheet. Need to add a test for search data? Just add the sheet, write the test method. That's it. Your framework is now truly built to scale.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that by separating your data from your logic and by creating this intelligent, dynamic bridge between them, you've built a foundation that isn't just easier to maintain today, it's ready for any challenge you decide to throw at it tomorrow. Thanks for watching.